Most men think the moment their wife says she wants out, it automatically means the marriage is over. But the truth is, those words alone aren't what determine whether your marriage can actually be saved. Those words tell you where your marriage is today. They don't automatically tell you where it has to stay. So in today's video, I'm going to show you what actually determines whether your marriage still has a path back, the 3 things your wife is quietly evaluating that you need to understand, and the one shift I've consistently seen separate the men who rebuild their marriages from the men who keep pushing their wife further away. It can create a lot of fear to believe that your marriage is at a point of no return, where everything is over and going to slide right off the cliff for good. Your own thoughts can start to play stressful games, like telling you that she said she wants out, so you missed your chance, or she mentioned divorce, so it is way too late now. I mean, hearing those words really makes it feel like it's game over. But what I've noticed is the very telling pattern that words themselves aren't what make a marriage unrecoverable. Those words from her are really just a result of something that's been happening for a long time. If you ever worked at a company you really disliked, or just a job in particular that you ended up leaving, most of the time you don't just wake up on a random Wednesday and suddenly quit. What really happens is that you go months feeling unheard by management or just overall frustrated, and you come to the realization that there's no reason for you to believe that things are going to improve at this place. Eventually, you're going to get to a point where you imagine it being better somewhere else, and by the time you hand in your resignation, it's a decision that's kind of been building inside you for a long time. When your wife says something along the lines that she wants out, or you can sense that she's hinting at it, that is her telling you where her heart has already been heading for a long time. However, do not make the mistake of thinking that automatically means the destination of where her heart is headed can never change. What it does mean is you have to be able to interrupt the direction that she's been traveling in. And this is where so many guys accidentally accelerate her speed in the same direction rather than interrupt it and alter her course. Because instead of changing what she's experiencing, they start spending their time arguing with the conclusion that she's already reached. Think about that. What she's really communicating is that she doesn't think the relationship can make her happy anymore. And so many guys respond with their own version of basically telling her that it isn't fair to say that, and yeah, it can definitely still make her happy. If you want to break it down, she is straight up saying, I really don't think you understand me. And most men are brushing it off and just saying like, of course I do. It's crazy when you get your eyes open to this stuff, because I went in so many circles playing this role as a guy, but when my eyes were open to the reality of how things work between men and women, it was life-changing. When you really dive into it, there are 2 completely different conversations that are almost always happening between men and women. We get so focused on the logical side and try to convince her that things are not as she says, yet she is saying those things from her own emotional experience. Those are completely different conversations, like not even close to the same thing. If you can even just start by really understanding that you are speaking generally from logic and she is speaking from emotion, that is the first step to stop spending all of your energy solving the wrong issue. Because then your energy can go towards the better question. Now that you know that convincing her logically doesn't work, the better question is going to be, what is she trying to figure out to decide if she really wants out of the marriage? Well, another big change to my own misunderstanding was that I had to rid myself of the brainwashing we see in our favorite movies and TV shows. How many times have you watched TV shows and movies and it focuses on the woman wondering if the male interest loves her or not, and then him trying to prove to her and win her approval? Well, here in the real world, your wife is not trying to answer the question, does my husband love me? She knows you love her and that you do almost anything to save the marriage. And she knows you're hurting and you're scared. The missing puzzle piece for everything right now isn't love. Actually, it's funny. I had commented on some other creator's video a long time ago, which I think almost a year ago, trying to kind of help someone out who had made a comment and asked a question. And I got a notification a couple days ago that someone actually responded to my comment. And he went on this diatribe about how love is all that you need, and this is what's wrong with society today, and that these things are not worth it if she can't see how much you love her. And I actually saw he went on to respond to somebody else's comment, kind of going on the same thing as well. I didn't bother responding to him because I used to think the exact same way, and it wasn't until I pulled myself out of that forest that I could really see what reality is. And unfortunately for that guy, and a lot of guys just like him, he is just so set in his ways, he's going to experience a lot of repetitive pain if he doesn't change the way he thinks. Love is amazing, but it is not the missing piece in these situations. Experience is the missing piece. In many conversations I have with my coaching clients, and these are good guys. These are guys who genuinely want to make things better and are really putting in the effort to transform how they are showing up. Even though their situations are unique to them, there are a lot of common underlying patterns that come up. They tell me things their wives have said to them, and there is often a theme of the wife feeling very unheard and like their husband doesn't know them that well. Or the wife feels like he just doesn't listen to her. You can love her with all your heart, even if you get frustrated with her sometimes, and she can still be made to feel unseen. You can work hard for your family, yet your wife may still feel emotionally alone. It would be a lot easier for us if we could just fix things by really showing her how much we loved her, and then things would kind of naturally mend. But what she is really measuring is what life feels like beside you, not the size of your love for her or even her love for you. It is a difficult thing to hear for a lot of guys. I mean, look at the guy I mentioned who responded to my comment. He believed that love should be enough. And I get that is a natural thought and that really love should be all that counts, but intentions and impact are not the same. So then the real question is, how do you know what she is actually paying attention to? And the answer to that is actually quite simple and probably the most important part of this video. There are basically three main questions she is quietly asking herself that have nothing to do with does he love me or not. The first question she's asking is this: can I finally relax around him? The key word in that question is relax. Now, I want you to notice the word I used. I didn't say laugh or can I smile around him, although both of those are great as well. But first and foremost, relax. If your relationship has been under pressure for a long time, it becomes a lot easier for her to stop relaxing around you in the sense that they're almost subconsciously waiting for the next disagreement or emotional reaction. So for her, it's all about relaxing because she can experience emotional predictability. Is she able to settle when she is with you because she trusts your leadership and how you will show up as a man? That is all about what relaxing into you is. Okay, the second question she's quietly asking herself is, does this actually feel different or is it just another temporary effort? Pay very close attention to this one because I think it's very relevant to almost every guy going through this. Most men become incredibly motivated once they realize their marriage is in trouble. You want to do anything you can to fix your marriage. So even if you read a few books or kind of watched maybe some other YouTube videos or got some counseling for help, and then you tried to implement it, you probably experienced something a bit jarring. And that is, it didn't work very well. That's because from her perspective, she is used to a certain you that's shown up for so long that internally she has no idea who this person is trying to be. Thus, what she is really asking is, how long will this new version of you last? And can you really blame her subconscious for asking that? Trust grows a lot slower than panic does, so you cannot measure your progress of trying to save your marriage by one conversation. The real measuring stick has to be the one where you measure your own growth as a man over the next bunch of months. That is the most important thing for you. And finally, the third question she's asking herself is, can I stop carrying this relationship by myself? Because we talked about her feeling unseen and unheard, she's going to feel emotionally exhausted and like she has talked to a wall this entire relationship. That may sound a bit drastic, but if she's been always explaining things to you or asking for the same things or trying to get a point across where she's just starts complaining about a lot of stuff, she's going to give up thinking that anything's ever going to change. She will basically reach the point where she does not care about another promise. She just wants some relief from that same exhaustion, and she really is looking to feel heard. And this is where it gets interesting because you can say, okay, Jeff, I understand what she's looking for now, but if she's already decided she wants out, how does any of this actually change her mind? Well, the answer to that is probably very different than you expect. Think about watching your favorite sports team for like a decade. Year after year, same problems, same disappointments. If you want some relatability, I'm in my 40s and I've been a Maple Leafs fan my entire life. They haven't won the Stanley Cup since 1967, nor have they even made the final since then. Every year, me and my friends, when we make a great signing, or like this year when we had the first overall draft pick, we kind of dabble thinking that maybe things are going to change. But do we seriously believe that? Hell no. My repeated experience season after season since I was born has been either not making the playoffs or in very rare occasions, max getting to the conference finals, which also hasn't happened in 25 years. So when your wife says she doesn't think she can do this anymore, that was built through living the same repeated experiences season after season with you. She is reacting to the story that has been writing itself for a very long time. That's why trying to argue with the conclusion she's come to emotionally will basically never work. What you have to do is ask yourself, what would have to become true to genuinely make her feel different than her previous experience tells her? And the most generic answer to that question is, well, you have to become a different man. But what does that mean, right? It's very generic and almost sounds too obvious to say that, so I'll give you some examples to guide your thought process towards the right direction. What you really want to do is become impossible to be described by the old story of you in her head. Maybe she shares something with you one day, and instead of jumping in with advice, or while you're listening to her speak, you're already preparing a rebuttal, you just listen and stay curious. Maybe she gets frustrated really quickly now because her fuse has gotten short, and instead of matching her emotion, you stay calm without becoming cold towards her. Maybe you remember something she mentioned 2 weeks ago because you were genuinely paying attention to her this time. These aren't those magical, Oscar-nominated, dramatic movie scenes professing love, but these little moments are actually what work because they begin to tell her subconscious a different story about you. This is what starts to create safety for her, and especially if you listen to her and pay attention to what she's saying, she starts to feel like the person she's sharing life with actually notices her. That is thoughtfulness and showing her that you've been paying attention. So I want to leave you with something very important. Your wife telling you she wants out, or you again sensing things are in a very bad state, I know how frightening that feels, and it makes your stomach drop and your mind start racing. You start to think the clock is running out very fast, and you begin treating every day like it's your last chance to save your marriage. That's the exact reason that makes you start doing things that are going to actually add pressure to her and make it even harder for you to become the calm, grounded leader your relationship really needs. Your wife's decision today tells you how she experiences the relationship today. It doesn't automatically tell you what she's going to experience 6 months from now. You can save your marriage if your wife wants out, but it will happen because reality slowly stops matching the story she's been carrying about you and the relationship. I've seen marriages recover after wives were talking about divorce. I've seen marriages recover after months of emotional distance and she said she doesn't have any feelings left. And I've seen marriages recover after they were already divorced, but the grass wasn't greener on the other side. But those marriages recovered because the relationship gradually became a different experience than the one she wanted to leave. So if you stop focusing on trying to change her decision and instead focus on becoming a self-confident man who can show up with leadership when she experiences you, then you're the one doing the thing that actually gives the marriage the greatest chance to heal. That is the power of being able to learn these leadership skills for your relationship. So if you want the best path to learn all of those skills that truly matter, and you can start to grow that reconnection as soon as you start implementing them, go watch my free Relationship Rebuild Masterclass. It's going to give you the step-by-step process that I use to change my life and the one my coaching clients use to transform into the leader that helps them reconnect with their wife. If the Masterclass resonates with you, towards the end, you'll have a chance to book a free strategy call to apply for my coaching program. When we work together, we will take your unique situation and set you down the path to reconnection using the skills that really work. So go watch that free masterclass today by clicking the link in the pinned comment or description below. And if this video resonated with you, you should also learn why emotional safety is one of the biggest factors behind all of the success you will ever have in your relationship. And to do that, click on this video right here.